Third graders, it's Mrs. Mangan, and today we're going to be analyzing artifacts, which are going to be primary sources. So, yesterday you started looking at the text about or ancient Greece. Now, ancient Greece is the perfect choice for this because there are so many things that we can find and that are still existing there in Greece that can teach us about the way life was in the past. So, I came across this article about in April of 2019, the Greek government was creating a new metro system, which is the underground, like a subway system. And upon starting their construction, they started digging. And as they started digging, they found over 300,000 ancient artifacts. And they started looking at them one by one and found the most amazing items. Let me show you one of the things that they found. So, these are two of the things that they dug up. I have no idea what they are. I'm going to try to analyze these artifacts in order to figure out what material they're made out of and what they could tell me about the past. Now, usually when we were in class, we would be presenting you with artifacts for you to hold and to touch and to feel the size and the texture. But for our purposes today, we're just going to have our picture and we're going to have to use our best guesses for a little bit of this. So, we're going to use an artifact kind of data recording sheet. Let me show you what it looks like. So this says analyze an artifact or object. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to meet the artifact. What do we think it is? What do we think? What's our first guess about what we think this is? So if I'm going to write, and I'm just going to take myself out of present mode because I'm going to open this up with Cami so I can actually write. So what do we think this is? Okay, so you know what? Let me go back. What do I think that this is? Hmm. Well, it's circular, so part of me thinks it might be like a coin or something like that. But then it's got these hoops. So then it kind of reminds me of something that would be like on a necklace. I'm not sure. But what do I think it is? Maybe maybe I'll write maybe a coin or necklace, like the charm on a necklace. All right. Now, that's my first hunch. Let's see. What do you think the object is made out of? So let me go back to it. It looks like it's made out of some kind of metal. I think we can kind of agree on that. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to get a shape and I'm going to circle that I think it's made out of metal. Okay. All right, let's keep going. How do you think the object feels? Now, this is really tricky for us because we don't have it in our hands. But what do you think? If it's made of metal, do you think it would feel heavy, light, smooth, rough, hard, or soft, or a few of both of these? What do you think? Well, it looks like kind of shiny, so I'm assuming it might be smooth, other than the place in the middle that's got those engravings. And it looks like it'd be pretty heavy to me. But again, I'm not sure because it's not holding in my hand. So for today's purposes, I'm just going to have to use my best guesses. So I'm going to say I think it's heavy. I think it's hard, but I do think it's smooth. So I've made my best guess. What is the color of the object? So let me go back. It looks like it's a silver color. And what is the shape? It's circular. And what is the size? Now, this is tricky because I don't have a picture near me to compare. It's not like holding in someone's hand. But you know what? It did remind me of a coin. So I'm going to take my best guess and I'm going to say I think that it is small like a coin. Again, if we were doing this with these objects in our hand, we'd have a much better picture of the. So here, I'm going to put my text box. What's the color? It is silver. And what is the shape? It is round. And then the size of the object, I'm thinking it is going to be small like a coin. All right. Good. All right, what are the three words that describe the object? So let's go back. We might want to use some of these things here, but we might want to challenge ourselves a little bit and look at the artifact more deeply and see how else could I describe it. I would say that it's detailed, right? Like I see that person's staff and there's some writing on it. So one word I'm going to use is detailed. I also feel like this is something that was very fancy. I don't feel like regular everyday people would be using these. So I might just say I think it's like expensive or fancy. I think it's engraved or detailed. And then what's one other thing I could think about this? Um, I think it's ornamental. I think it's something that people wore to kind of dress up. So I'm going to put those three words down. So I think it's ornamental, which means decorative. I think that I think it's fancy. I think it's something that people wore when they were getting all dressed up, maybe. And I think they're very detailed. All right, so let's keep going. Let's try now using everything that we've seen that we think it's maybe a coin or a necklace charm. We think it's made of metal and it's heavy and smooth. It's silver and it's round and small like a coin. What do you think the object was used for? So, third graders, if you had to guess, what do you think this object is used for? And then who do you think would have used it? So, I'm going to go with my guess that I think this is a part of a necklace. Now, I'm not sure because with my primary source, don't have anybody to tell me yes or no. Maybe some other historians and archaeologists have found things like this in the past and have been able to get a more definitive answer. But for me, I'm not sure. So I'm just taking my best guess. And when you guys see your object that you're going to analyze soon, you're going to make your best guess too. So I think this is a part of a necklace. What, who do you think would have used this? Um, I think this might have been somebody for like royalty or like the higher ups in the society. It feels like it's really fancy. What does the object tell us about the time period? Well, it tells us that they had metal as a material. Okay, so metal was an available material. You know what else? I noticed that there's a lot of etchings and engravings so that they were able to create very detailed pictures on a like very hard material. So I wonder if they did it with like chiseling it. I wonder how they did it. So they created detailed engravings. I'm thinking that maybe people dressed up or maybe they showed their wealth through what they wore. But I'm not sure. What do we still use this object today? I don't know, but if it is a necklace, then yes, because people still wear necklaces. All right, last part. Use it as historical evidence. Where do you think you could find out more information about the object or the people who used it? This is a really important final question. So, when we find something, we take our best guess, we make informed inferences. We use our clues, we use our background knowledge, and we come up with an educated guess. But now we want to take it one step further. How do we find out the answers to our questions? And I'm going to leave this one blank because I don't want to give you the answers. I want you to think about it. Where do you think I could go to go find more information about this object? What could I do to figure out more about it? Could I use computer? Could I use internet? Could I use interviews? Could I use pictures? Could I use photographs? What could I use? Who could I talk to? Where could I go to find more information? So, today, third graders, you're going to be using this photograph of this object. It was found in that very same dig where they were building the metro, just like those necklace coins, whatever they are. So, you guys are going to use this. You're going to think about using this picture and this analyzing sheet to do the same thing that we did together. So, what do you think this is? What do you think the object is made of? If you could hold it, how do you think it feels? What's the color? What's the shape? About how big it is. That's going to be a little tricky because we don't know. But from what you think it is, about how big do you think it is? What are some words to describe it? What do you think it was used for? Who would have used it? Would a person use this? Is this a tool? What is it? And what does this object tell us about life at that time? What kind of materials did they have? What did they value? And do you think we still have objects like this today? And then finally, if we want the answers to our questions, where are we going to go in order to find those answers? So, third graders, thank you for your patience in watching me kind of analyze those necklace coin things. And I want you to use that same process to try to analyze this artifact. So there's going to be this graphic organizer on a slide for you. You can copy and paste that slide into your own May e-learning slideshow, or I am also going to provide you an activity on Seesaw. So if you prefer to do the work on Seesaw, you'll have those two options. All right, third graders, good luck on your archaeological dig and your analyzing of artifacts.